Today's video, we're going to go over into a potential snowy pattern here in the next week or so with a blizzard that's going to happen starting tomorrow night and linger into the weekend across northeast New England, mainly along the coast. And then we're looking at a new potential storm system that will be occurring or may be occurring next week. We don't know for sure, but there's unusually high confidence where and if the storm will occur. But just to let you know, that heads up, that this is going to be occurring most likely across parts of the plains, Midwest, Great Lakes. But then again, we still have some things to work on. There are obviously a lot of room for changes, but it seems that the model's been consistent with where this winter storm could be impacted, at least a hint of it. Now, before you do get started here, please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not done so already. Don't hesitate to like this video if you did enjoy the forecast. Also, don't hesitate if you have any questions, suggestions, local forecasts. You can send a comment down below and stay notified and hit the bell icon in the next to the subscribe button once you've subscribed for more content. And we'll keep you looking at some comparisons for this next week's storm, which is maybe like middle of next week or so. But European model that has the low tracking across, say, these areas, and then it's dropping some heavy snow across parts of southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and a swath of freezing rain from northeast Illinois, northwest from northwest Indiana, central lower Michigan, and mostly north of the Canadian border after that, aside from maybe parts of central Maine, and also some snow there too. Because this storm is going to be quite long, according to what models show. So yeah, with the snow sitting quite far out, it's got to be a decent system of, and this is the same thing that Canadian shows, except it's a little slower of a solution, with most of the heavier precipitation off in the plains still, with quite a mixed bag across Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois. And then we got some snow on the backside over here, parts of the plains, Midwest, Great Lakes. And the GFS a little faster than the rest of the models, with some snow across the Great Lakes, which is ending across these regions. That's a whole difference, which is still plenty of uncertainty. The low situated across northeast Kentucky at this point, so we'd probably take this kind of track or whatever, with the mixed precipitation across parts of the eastern Great Lakes and maybe sort of New England, but it would keep most of that region even in the rain. So yeah, that's a lot to talk about. And considering this is unusually high confidence for who would see what, is at least. But with the timing, that's where things are a little off, obviously, as you can see right here. But yeah, we're going to go over what to expect with the blizzard, but right in just a second. Because whether or not there's a severe thunderstorm potential depends on the moist air, whatever, or possible instability that comes out of it for the Gulf. Now we're going to go to the models for the blizzard. Obviously still expected to be a bomb cyclone and probably a blizzard as well for portions of the East Coast, specifically northeast and New England regions. But here it is, like 1,003 millibars, and it's expected to strengthen rapidly as it heads northeastward. But for now, we see some light to moderate snow across parts of the mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, and also the central or southern Appalachians. And then some rain just offshore, obviously, with the system. But then watch as it deepens rapidly. In just 6 hours, it's 11 millibars deeper, 992 millibars, and it gets even stronger, even worse than it already is. And you can see the heavy snow begins to develop across the mid-Atlantic and northeastern shorelines. Cities like Boston, New York City, Washington D.C., Baltimore, and Atlantic City could all get sucked by the snowstorm with some rain elsewhere, but that once again be offshore. And also, since that's mainly with a mixed precipitation too, with just mainly offshore once again. And then the heavy snow begins to really affect the conditions across parts of the northeast mid-Atlantic coast before it wraps up across the mid-Atlantic at Saturday morning. But then it just gets worse from here on. New England northeast east coast. But then it's still gonna rapidly deepen as we head on with the storm. So 970 millibars in just 18 hours. And as you look at that, that is 36 millibars in just 24 hours, which is definitely going to be a bomb cyclone. And with that very heavy snow we're going to be seeing across parts of coastal New England. And that could lead to 1 to possibly 2 feet of snow across those areas. And that storm is going to head into southeastern Canada and weaken after that. And then the storm has ended, and now we wait for the upcoming snowstorm that will and probably will affect many of these areas across from the plains, southern plains, central plains, Midwest, Great Lakes, and also New England, north parts of the northeast regions. I don't think they'll exactly be the same, and probably won't be as those areas that do happen to get into this nor'easter snowstorm. Because, one, this is a totally different storm with totally different regions. The nor'easters start over here, while the storm we're talking about could start anywhere just east of the Rockies, which is probably what we're gonna expect. The price is in the Rockies somewhere. Be like Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico area. That's where the thing likely sets up. Maybe even as an Oklahoma panhandle low, but I'm not really sure on that. Colorado low, panhandle low, that's still one of the uncertainties here. But now we're going to get into whether or not there will be severe weather, because Storm Prediction Center has mentioned a possibility for that across some of these areas, along Mississippi Valley and Southeast, so for at least part of that. So now we're going to head into those forecasts. Plenty of Gulf moisture available for the lower Mississippi Valley area and also parts of the Southeast and the Deep South. So areas along the Gulf Coast, but also a little further inland, the lower Mississippi Valley, southern, maybe even southern plains too. And with that influx of Gulf moisture with 40s dew points as far north as central Illinois and Indiana, with 50s reaching the Missouri state line as far north, maybe even further than that, with maybe even the Ohio River seeing 50s dew points at some point, which you can see there. It's in the darker shade green. And then you see that there's going to be some dew points in the 60s that will also be affecting northward, but that will mainly be for the southeastern region. Well, let's just see how far north it goes. It goes to about southern Virginia, southeast Virginia at the most. So what we can infer on this is that there could be severe weather if all the other ingredients come together. Dew point is a good thing, and there's plenty of moisture available. Ample moisture that will definitely be easily enough to fuel severe weather if all the other ingredients we will look at. Not in too much detail, obviously, but just what models kind of show at Wednesday night. You can see that as you head into Wednesday, it'll look like there could be some isolated severe weather, maybe even scattered across southern parts of southern Texas, maybe even Florida Panhandle, and then the real Cape starts to kick in, at least for Thursday afternoon and evening, which would mainly be for Florida, Southeast Georgia, even in the Carolinas. So where you see Cape, which would be all the way to the Ohio Valley. But again, it's minimal mostly for the most part here. But Florida Panhandle, there's going to be a good amount of energy to get things really kicking off for the severe weather. But yeah, that's definitely something to look at. And obviously with a week out from this, maybe a little less, a lot can change from now and then. And it's probably going to be like that, even just for the winter impact. So that's going to be something to look at. Now we're just going to focus on the snowfall amounts from the snow part of the system, and then end the video there. Okay, so here we are with the snowfall amounts across the snowstorms for which areas will see it, such as probably the plains, Midwest, Great Lakes, and also for the blizzard, that'd be areas along the East Coast, most mainly northeast New England regions, and also maybe light amounts for the Mid-Atlantic. But we're gonna take a look and see. There's gonna be widespread at 1 foot plus amounts for the blizzard we've been looking at. And I'm actually talking about the other stuff, but I'm gonna focus on this one here, which will probably end up being a major snowstorm with what the models look at. Widespread 1 foot plus amounts in the swath from Illinois to Indiana, Michigan, and then in the southeastern Canada. And then lighter amounts as you go further down here in the plains, obviously. And then as you can look at the GDPS or Canadian model, there's those over foot amounts once again across similar regions. So maybe we're still in the process of here, but at least over the US you can see already a foot has dropped from the Great Lakes, the Midwest, from northern Missouri and northern Illinois, and the central lower peninsula of Michigan. That's where that swath would come in of 1 foot of snow. And then if you look at the European model, shows some smaller areas that could see like at least 1 foot of snow. So like a little lighter, but widespread ½ inch of snow or at least 6 inches of snow across many of these regions. From Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, and then Ontario. So you can see those 1 foot amounts. If this were to happen, then some localizers that could see that would be like the bridges between the two peninsulas, Michigan, which obviously the models can change, into southeast Wisconsin, northwestern Illinois, and also in eastern Missouri. And then we're going to talk about the snowfall amounts from just the blizzard, as we just did for just this snowstorm. So here we are, with foot of snow continuing to be expected across parts of coastal New England and Northeast. Except Long Island would probably get more snow compared to what the GFS says. And then here we are with the European with even, 2+ feet across parts of eastern Massachusetts. Like, it's such a feat for what the model's been showing so far for this snowstorm. And mid-Atlantic, localized, at least on the coast, could see a foot of snow or more. And yeah, Long Island and could see a foot plus snow on the eastern side, with New York City getting lesser amounts. Maybe of just over 6 inches, maybe like 9 or so inches at the most, tops. And then same thing here with the Canadian model, at least for New York City. Boston would likely see over a foot of snow as the models pan out. Again, for this blizzard, it's going to be over the weekend, but starting Friday night over here in the Mid-Atlantic. And then for the blizzard, it's going to be next week. I'd probably say start watching this as next Monday or Tuesday. And then Wednesday, maybe even Thursday if the snow lingers across the Great Lakes for this blizzard. So yeah, quite a snowstorm setup we're going to be seeing here over the next week or so. And we're not sure when this will end, but we'll get to you more on it with our next video. Going to be a spring outlook, which will hopefully release just for our first monthly outlook we've ever done, like a while actually. But yeah, stay tuned.